When this sobbing she-wolf approached a guy out of the blue, he understood she was in serious distress. This story took place on Cooper North Island in southeast Alaska, beside the Coho Creek. After setting out on his own to prospect for gold, a guy discovered something incredible. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. For the man, it had begun as any other day. He came out of the trees as he strolled beside the brook, but then froze. There was a massive Alaskan timber wolf in the surrounding bog, not more than 20 paces away from him. However, the man realized right away that the wolf was in danger. One of its legs had become trapped in an old trap that had been laid by his lately deceased friend. If the wolf was left in the trap, he knew it would die there. The man cautiously approached the wolf, who tried to back away, but that was when the man discovered something more. The wolf was female, and she had plenty of milk in her teats. This indicated that she had just given birth, and that there was a den full of hungry cubs waiting for their mother somewhere in the vicinity. The man estimated that the dog had been stuck for a few days based on her looks. Knowing that the cubs would need to be fed soon if they were to survive, and that he couldn't get the mother free to go fetch them, the guy opted to look for the pups instead. He started searching for any traces that would take him back to the mother's lair. Luckily, there were still a few patches of snow on the ground, and the prospector saw the paw impressions on a trail that skirted the bog after a few moments. He followed the trails into the woodland and up a slope covered in rocks. The man eventually discovered the den at the foot of a massive spruce tree after climbing the slope. From the den, 4 small wolf cubs carefully emerged. After examining them, the man surmised that they couldn't have been older than a few weeks. One by one, he placed them in a burlap bag and headed back down the slope. The mother wolf recognized him as soon as he entered the clearing where she was and stood straight, maybe sensing that one of her pups was around. She emitted a high-pitched cry, as though she was aware of what was within the sack and was eager to see her children again. The cubs bolted to their mother and started to lap up the milk from her teats as soon as the man let them go. Glad he had managed to bring the family back together, the man observed them. The prospector attempted to approach the mother wolf, who was preoccupied with tending to her pups, but she instantly averted her gaze and let out a menacing roar. There was nothing more the man could do to free the stranded animal. Every time the man tried to get close to her, she would get aggressive and show her teeth to defend her young. After weighing his choices, the prospector concluded that the mother wolf was probably hungry, just like her offspring. She would not have been able to go food hunting if she had been trapped. In addition to trying to help her, the man determined that he would have to get her something to eat in the hopes that she would begin to trust him. As he made his way nearer the creek, he noticed a dead deer's leg protruding from the snowbank. After chopping off a hindquarter, he returned to the wolf. As he stepped out into the clearing, the animal's gaze was fixed on him, as though she sensed he had something special in store for her. The man divided the meat into pieces and threw venison slices in the wolf's direction. After giving them a whiff, she devoured them. After consuming all of the food, the man made a crude shelter for himself and quickly dozed off. 4 fluffy bundles of fur woke him up at daybreak by sniffing at his hands and face. He cast a quick glance in the direction of the distressed mother wolf and began formulating a strategy for her assistance. He would finally be able to release the animal if he could gain her trust. The prospector split his efforts over the next few days between gaining the wolf's trust and prospecting. He played with the pups, threw her more venison, and spoke softly to her. He continued to approach the adult wolf gradually, being cautious not to go any farther than the chain's length. The large animal never averted her dark eyes from him, but as the days passed, she appeared to become increasingly at ease in his company. On the 6th day, while the man was bringing the mother wolf her evening supper of venison, the pups suddenly ran to him. The man had gained the trust of the young wolves, but he was starting to doubt that he would ever be able to assist the mother dog. Abruptly, the man thought he saw her tail wag a little. He stepped inside her chain, willing to take a chance. The wolf didn't move at all. The man approached her to within 8 feet, 2.4 meters, and sat down gingerly. Her massive jaws could have broken his arm or neck, he was that near. But the man, determined to help, pulled his blanket around himself and sat down carefully on the chilly ground. It took him a while to drift off to sleep, but at last, he was rendered unconscious. The prospector awoke at dawn, stirred by the sound of puppies nursing. The mother wolf stiffened as he leaned down and caressed them gently. Still, she took no further action. Seeing this as a positive indication, the man placed a gentle hand over the animal's wounded leg. Approaching the wolf, he saw that the trap had only entangled 2 of her toes, suggesting that she would be all right, provided he could free it. The man swiftly found the release spring and opened the trap. As soon as the mother wolf was free, she jumped away from the trap and began to lope around, getting acclimated to being able to move again. After breaking free, the mother wolf approached the man with caution and gave him a sniff. After giving him a single lick, she turned around and hobbled her cubs into the woods. She turned back to the prospector, perhaps beckoning him to follow her before vanishing from sight. The man obeyed, following the tiny family for a few miles at a leisurely pace. They ascended Kupanov Mountain until they reached an alpine meadow. There was a pack of wolves hiding in the outer woods. The man counted 9 adults and 4 almost adult pups based on their active antics. The pack exchanged greetings for a short while before starting to howl. It was a strange noise, with high-pitched yodeling mixed in with low-pitched wails. The man made his camp at the edge of the meadow that night. He saw many silhouettes of wolves darting in and out of the shadows as he sat by his fire. But he didn't feel scared, because he understood that the creatures were merely interested in him. The next day, the man knew that it was time for him to depart. While he packed up his encampment, the mother wolf kept an eye on him. The mother wolf and her pups were sitting where he had left them, watching him, when the man turned around and saw they were at the far side of the meadow. Then, the mother wolf and her pack vanished into the woods with a long, melancholy howl. After 4 years, the man went back to the creek. Fall 1945 brought with it the familiar, refreshing air of the Alaskan bush and the sight of towering spruce trees, which were a welcome sight after the atrocities of the war. The man discovered the exact same trap from which he had previously released the mother wolf while strolling beside the creek. It sat precisely where he had left it all those years ago. The prospector had a peculiar feeling at the sight of it, and for some reason, he felt compelled to climb Kupanov Mountain to the meadow where he had last seen the wolf and her cubs. The man let out a long, low wolf call as he reached the meadow. Remarkably, an echo bounced back from the other side. Then he noticed a black shape approaching him slowly from a distance. Even after 4 years, he recognized the unmistakable shape of the timber wolf as soon as it crossed the meadow. The wolf approached, her body tensed, and came to a halt a short distance away. The wolf appeared, waved her bushy tail a little, and then vanished in an instant, leaving no trace of her presence. The man turned and walked out of the meadow, grinning at the incredible occurrence that had just unfolded. The man never saw the animal again, but the memory she left stuck with him forever. Please leave a comment below with your thoughts on the tale. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.